We're going to go ahead and get started. We are recording now. Let's see. So we're going to do a quick synopsis. First of all, how did you guys like the case study this week?
I really enjoyed it because finally some real world situations in here.
Application?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good. All right, so I'm posting. I don't know if you'll see the chat board on the right of your screen or not.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
It's kind of messy, but so the quick synopsis here, right? We have Martha. She is newly graduated MBA. She just finished her internship at Deep Dive Pizza, and she gets the 2 offers, right? And she goes to Potomac Waters,
Mm-hmm.
and she's only there for like 4 or 5 months, and she's struggling. And so the main, question is, should she stay or should she go?
So is that the first question?
No, sorry, that is not the first question.
Okay.
So the first question is, what was Follett's contribution? What's going on with her? I even had to write out, they have that diagram at the end of the case study. I had to write it out myself because I kept getting so confused between everyone.
Right. Well, the way that I understood it, Follett was like the main project manager over Jaime. Is it Jaime or Jamie? I'm assuming it's Jaime and Martha. And then she reports to Berman.
Yeah, so it goes, let's see. Bautista is the VP, and then it goes Berman, then Follett, and then Jamie and Martha are kind of at the same level, but Jamie started like 2 months before her or something.
Right, but according to the... Go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say, I kind of took it as that, not Bautista, but the other, was it Berman or Bowman? Whatever his name was. I kind of thought he was just the same position as Follett, but in a different division.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's how it was. So I think Follett was basically in charge of that entire division. She was kind of the head honcho person.
Right.
And Bautista was over all of the marketing.
That's correct. That's the way the diagram is.
Yes, that's right. Okay.
Right.
Which I find interesting because Follett was working from home. She was like part-time, at least until the time being, she was part-time. So
right.
And then of course it was rumored that she was having an affair with Jamie. So that's great,
Right. And Follett has an attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's very unprepared and doesn't respect other people's abilities. And because she even says that she's not even prepared for the meeting and tells her just to go read up on the product.
Yeah. So as at least where it goes, the contribution, there wasn't much of any.
Right.
All right, so then what is Vaughn's contribution?
Well, I think Vaughn is just more using the relationship he has with Follett to push his work onto other people. And it looks like the work's getting pushed on Martha.
Well, and he totally has this sense of like entitlement.
Right.
But yet he's totally like Martha's equal, in some aspects.
Right. Matter of fact, he makes a comment. Let me make sure it's him. Remember that. She's reporting. Okay. He says that you're from the... No, that's her. That's Follett. Making the comment about the famous Generation Y. Good with technology, but rumored to be impatient and demanding.
Yeah.
I think that's Follett. Yeah, that's Follett. I'm sorry. Your question was regarding Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's so confusing, so it's okay. Sorry. Jacob's, I'm responding to Jacob's email really fast.
Okay. There was the comment from Jamie in the fishbowl.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it.
Explain the fishbowl aspect of it. Like, I didn't get that comparison really.
Just seemed
Okay,
like
well,
the
go ahead,
cub-
Josh.
Then the cubicles, they just all were clear glass. You know, they weren't the normal dividers.
Okay.
So I think they kind of called it the fishbowl because everyone was on the outside looking in on you. They could see what you were doing all the time.
Mhm.
You were kind of just in this like glass area where everything you did was noticed by somebody else. That's how I understood it.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. I guess I kind of envisioned it as just like a bunch of people with their ideas and things kind of swimming around.
No, it has to do with the layout of the desks and the office space is why they called it the fishbowl.
Okay, nice. Good to know. Is that welcome, Jacob?
Hi, sorry. I'm eating ice cream.
Nice.
Oh, I hope it's good. What kind?
Cookie dough
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
with brownies.
Oh,
Good choice.
Yeah. It's actually the cheapest one at Brolam's for some reason.
Hmm.
Must be not be very high quality, but hey, it does the job.
there you go.
All right. So, what is Rinaldi's contribution? So, we were just talking about Vaughn and Follett's contribution. We're moving on to Rinaldi's. I felt like.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry. So, what the question is? What is Rinaldi's contribution? I feel like
Go.
she got overwhelmed really easily, but she did, work at what she was given.
I got the sense that she didn't know what direction to go into because she wasn't receiving any kind of structure.
Yeah.
She, it states that Follett was supposed to be training her, and Follett didn't want to train her, and so she's getting impatient.
Yeah.
So.
And I think, wasn't there one time where I think it was Bautista came in and they mentioned that he was living up to his, what's it called? By being like a hands-on boss type of thing. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, I'm trying to find that. To find it.
Anyways, so he came in and he was like, I was surprised that you didn't voice your opinion and different things. And she said that she was tired or something like that. And so she definitely wasn't feeling confident.
Yeah, here it is. It's I remember during your orientation week you were volunteering all sorts of ideas, but you were pretty quiet today. And then
that was Bautista.
Right, this is Bautista, and then he says, "Is everything going okay with you, with Jamie and Natalie?" So Bautista understands that there's an issue between those two product managers.
Yeah.
And then she responds by telling him, "Jamie is not the best communicator, but I'm working on it."
Yeah. So do you guys have like personal examples within your own life where you have to deal with different people's different employee personalities?
Yeah, we got to keep it really clean, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of dealing with it right now at work. We just hired some new people and we really don't have a set training regime for them. So it's hard because I can tell one of the employees he wants to learn and he's kind of getting frustrated because no one's really giving him very good direction as to what to do. So I'm trying to deal with that right now, trying to find some things for him to do because no one else seems to care at the moment.
Are you like a lead or a supervisor where you work?
I'm not really. I'm the buyer, so I usually sit at a desk. I'm kind of like when the two floor managers are out of town, I'm kind of the one that goes out on the floor and takes care of things. But it just seems like he came to me today and he was just like, "Oh, dude," he's like, no one's telling me what to do, so I just kind of took it upon myself. But it kind of reminds me a lot of this situation where it's just like you have people doing their own thing and you have a new hire starting and everyone's just too busy with their own stuff,
right,
to really show them and give them tasks that mean something. Like they're they're like today, like they were just telling him like go walk around the floor, around the sales floor, and just familiarize with yourself with product. And it's like there's way better things he can be doing than that.
Right.
So
And also too, you know, in my experience, sometimes people are afraid to teach new people because they have this fear that, oh, they're going to be better than me. I could lose my position.
yeah,
So,
Yeah, no, for sure.
yeah.
So do you think, what did you think of Rinaldi's review?
That Follett gave her?
Yeah, at the very end of the case study. No, not Follett. Who was it? Let me.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think yeah,
Yeah.
Follett gave
Yeah,
her one.
Follett gave it to her.
Yeah, never mind.
Because Follett made that comment like, well, if you must have one, like let's get it done.
Right.
That's right. Okay, yeah. So how did you think it went? What were some of the questions? Did she deserve such a harsh or poor appraisal?
Not at all.
I agree with Josh. Not at all.
I think it's weird. I agree. It says that she criticized her for lack of initiative. I feel
Right.
like she had too much initiative, and then she kind of just like got beat up so many times. She eventually just gave up on having
Right.
initiative.
Right, because she makes the comment, I don't want to come across as a know-it-all NBA because earlier Follett had said that she doesn't like MBAs because they're the Y generation and they think they know it all. So
Yeah.
I would have reached across the table and slapped her myself, but you know, that's me.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because you see that in companies, right?
Oh
Certain
yeah,
people like new hires, no matter what their, education level, and some people don't. So,
right.
So how would you describe Rinaldi's influence style? What tactics did she use?
Well, there was the one example when the what's that guy's name? Bautista? How do you pronounce his name? Bautista?
Bautista.
Batista.
Yeah. When she was saying that she's working out, trying to figure out the communication with Jamie, and then he says, "Well, send me a note when you get it all figured out." So it was like, I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but I'm going to let him know I'm working out some issues. So I think that's a form of class. So
Yeah. Well, and there's a part, right, where she's having like a shouting match with Jamie.
yeah, that was a good part.
Yeah. And later they're able to I think he apologizes,
Right.
and they both kind of make amends. And so, that's one way to communicate. But
Right. And actually, Jamie opened up to her by telling her that he was overlooked on a promotion.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Did you guys all watch the video for this week from our teacher?
I did
Yeah.
not.
Not yet. Okay. Well, he talks
Not yet.
about our emotional intelligence.
Right.
So as I kept reading through this case study, I just realized how little she had, or maybe how little she knew about herself. And I think it's like a topic that is easily passed over just in general. So anyway, so how would, what are Rinaldi's sources of power? Sorry, some of these questions are awful.
Her source of power.
Yeah.
Well, I think she's able to look at the situation and come up with well, there was that task that she had to do where she had to kind of fix some numbers.
Yeah, the ROI.
Right. Where she was making it. What is it? There's a comment in here, something about a creative brilliance.
Oh.
Let's see here. Yeah, it was Bautista that made the big push, and he gave her the challenge or the actual assignment to work on the ROI projections because he felt that she had a creative brilliance about herself.
Nice. Okay.
And then he sends that email out, which he CC'd to Natalie. And I'm trying to find it. And Natalie gets upset and says, "Well, yeah, I guess."
Yeah. Super
So-
professional.
Right.
I didn't get that. So because she was helping someone else, the up Batista or whatever, he like didn't want her to do that.
No, what happened was is Batista had her do the ROI report, and he liked it, and he sends an email to Martha and says,
Oh yeah.
"I'd like to compliment your intentions in helping out Anna this morning." No, wait, that isn't it. Sorry.
He emails her a few times.
Yeah, let's see. Where's it at? Well, I can't find it, but basically, uh, what is it? Follett gets upset and says, "Well, yeah, it looked okay, but from now on, why didn't he email me directly regarding the ROIs?" So she was kind of upset the fact that she felt that Martha kind of overdid her.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and I don't think Martha was intending to try to overdo it. She was just doing what she does well. So,
Yeah. Well, and I think Martha's definite power, whatever you want to call it, is, she's newly educated. And I think sometimes when everything's so fresh, right, you're able to add
right.
fresh skills. And that's, knowledge is power. So,
Right. Here it is. Bautista says, "Great job. A good contribution," is what he says to her. And then that is CC'd to Follett. And go ahead.
Is he trying to give Martha recognition in front of Follett, or what was the real purpose?
I think he was just trying to say, "Hey, I think you did a really good job and keep up the good work," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like a pat on the back kind of thing.
Okay. Great. So, what are the critical events or choice points encountered over the past 6 months at Potomac Waters?
What was the what?
Yeah, that was a mouthful.
Yeah. What are the major events encountered over the past 6 months at Potomac Waters? Off the top of my head, I cannot think of major events within the company other than they survived the recession.
Are they talking about the new product line? Because it sounded like Natalie and Jamie both recently got promoted, and their first main responsibility is this new product line that
Right.
Inva or something.
No, you're right. Keep going on that.
The main thing on the company is that new people are in different positions, and they need to start trying to figure things out, and they have this responsibility, and both of them are clearly stressed and not performing the way they need to, especially with a new employee.
Right. What they were starting to work on was the new fruit health drink called Invi, INVI,
Mm-hmm.
and it was what they call the blue.
Right.
Yeah, a banana blueberry drink. And Follett was actually assigned as the project manager on that at the same time. And so that's when Martha was hired, right at that transition.
Okay.
I think maybe what they're talking about, choice points, so it would be like major issues that arise. And I kind of think of the meeting between Martha and Bautista, where he kind of calls her out saying hey, clearly, I can clearly see something's going on. And he's trying to, get her to say something, and she doesn't.
Right.
So I'm kind of wondering if they mean certain points like that where things could go one way or they could go the exact opposite. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I would say that would be like one of the crucial points because she could have completely changed almost the entire case right at that point. If she would have been like, "Well, I'm having problems with Natalie. I'm having problems with Jamie. Here's what's going on. What can we do to fix it?" Kind of deal. And we
Exactly.
would have been reading a whole different case study at that point.
Right. So let me throw that since you talked about that. Do you think Natalie should have told Bautista the truth, or do you think Natalie was good about just leaving it the way she did?
I think she handled it really well. I think, and I see this as like question number 7, but personally, I think at this point in time is now she needs to go to Bautista and do something about it, and see what he does, because if he doesn't do anything about it, there's no reason for her to stay with the company. Like, she specifically chose to take a pay cut, take a lesser paying job
Right.
for the experience that she would gain. She's not gaining any of that experience, so there's absolutely no reason for her to stay. If Bautista can't get her in a different position or get the problems taken care of. Because I don't personally think she's going to get anywhere with Jamie or with Natalie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
In your guys' experience, when you do have conflict with an employee, do you deal with it right then, or do you find that kind of addressing it at a later time is better?
I find it's best to deal with it then, unless you're in a position where there's bystanders. Like, I work in retail, so if there's a problem, I can't really deal with it if we're out on the sales floor in front of customers.
Yeah.
But as soon as we're both free, I will pull the other employee in the back and resolve the problem, whether they were in the wrong, I was in the wrong, we both were in the wrong. It's better to just take care of it right then and there, or as soon as possible, I feel.
Right. But being professional about it, just like you said, waiting till you have that opportunity.
I would agree with that, but also add in, like, if your emotions are running high, to do it like calm down and then confront him as soon as possible.
Mhm.
But trying to do like in the moment, like when your emotions are still high, that could lead to more potential problems. Kind of like with the email situation back and forth with Jamie and Martha. Like both their they were angry at each other, and it just didn't lead anywhere.
Yeah. You have the potential to be look really stupid at that point in time.
Yeah.
And not even realize if you're not calm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Welcome, Brandon. Sorry some of you guys didn't get my email. I responded to everyone, but welcome. So what could she have done differently, over the last few months? Any specific things come to mind?
Not for me. I think she's done a great job.
Yeah. I mean, all I can think of is, she could have spoken up a little bit at, different points, but
Right.
then I get why she didn't. All right.
And she's a new kid on the block too, so she's trying to figure out where her footings are too.
Yeah. What would you say?
Did you guys just get a message from Brandon saying he can't hear us?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw it. He just put it up in the chat bar.
It would have to be something with his audio. Stink.
Oh, we can't. He can hear us. We can't hear him. That's weird.
Oh, okay. So he's trying to speak and we can't hear him.
Stink.
His mic could be muted or bad internet connection.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys, how long do you think it takes for, on average, someone to get acquainted in their new job? Like 6 months, a year, 3 months?
I would say 6 months to a year, just to kind of get a good idea of the culture and things like that. Just how everything works.
Okay. I'd say like a year-ish to really feel kind of confident with
Yeah.
everything.
Especially in a job like that, I think it's going to take some time.
Yeah. Do you think she's kind of wimpy to already be feeling like, it's been like 4 months and she already wants to leave?
I don't think it's more wimpy. I just think it's more a disappointment because when she was doing the orientation, they were saying she's going to get all this training, all this experience. She was going to advance within the first 3 months, and then by the year, she was going to be able to really move up the ladder, and that is not taking place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bautista really expects her to be doing more than she's doing,
Right.
and it's like he wants her to be doing more than she's doing, and it's not the fact that she's like inexperienced in the job. She's just, those opportunities are being withheld from her.
Right.
Like they talk about how she's just doing all these like trivial things, and she's not really like doing anything that pertains to her MBA. Like she's making copies and fixing PowerPoints and all these, things that Jamie and Natalie could be doing on their own, since it's their presentations.
Yeah. So how do you think she could repair the situation?
Quit.
How should she repair the situation?
Yeah. If she were to not leave, how would she move forward?
Hey guys, can you hear me now?
Oh, there we go. There's Brandon.
Oh, shit.
I had to jump onto my wife's computer. Sorry about all these technical problems. I was listening to the whole conversation. I was like trying to chime in, and then nobody responded. I was like, what the heck's going on here? Because my mic didn't say it was muted or anything. But anyway, sorry about that.
No worries. So we're just going around. We're talking about how she can repair the situation.
What I've done in the past is I brought all parties into a meeting and sit down and talk about the situation and just let it all out. And they need to bring in Bautista, and he needs to be in this meeting and pretty much figure out why the two managers aren't doing their job for Martha, and just lay it out there.
Yeah, I totally agree, Clayton. It's just a whole bunch of miscommunication. You got Bautista with his expectations of what she should be doing, and then you got Catherine's boss, who is just in her own little world and is really not helping her at all or giving her any type of instruction or responsibilities, and expects a lot from her. I mean, when they had that review, she even said that she needs to take more initiative on things, which I could see. I was kind of reading that throughout the case, where she was easily turned away and discouraged, whereas I think she could have done a little bit better to reach out to others and communicate a little bit better about her situation. I was listening to you guys at one point where I think you were talking about if she should have told Bautista like exactly what was going on, and I feel like there's definitely a way to word the situation in a way that it doesn't sound like you're ratting anybody out or you're complaining, or I definitely think there's a way to communicate the situation in a clear manner so that everybody is on the same page. But I agree, it's best just to get everybody in the same room, talk about what we need to do, what are the expectations, and how they can improve the situation.
For sure.
And the other thing is, during this meeting, is they need to bring the affair up and call them both out on it.
I know. That's terrible.
And to let them know that if it doesn't stop, then the two of you are going to get fired.
Yeah. Totally.
Because now what happens is, now the company's liable for sexual harassment at that point.
Oh yeah.
When it's known. So
there was a spot in the reading, I just saw it, but it mentions like on her first day, she walks into like the HR part, and it was like silent. And I think that's a really good sign that people aren't communicating and things aren't getting done.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting. All right. So, what can she do to repair the relationship with Follett, Vaughn, and Berman?
I think again, it just comes down to communication, but also understanding the standpoint of where those people are coming from and exactly their experience with the company, how long they've been there, the responsibilities that they're dealing with, the pressures that they may be facing. I don't think it talked too much about that in particular, but she just needs to realize that she's not the only one going through struggles and trying to find exactly how she can improve upon her work ethic and kind of be seen throughout the company as a hard worker. So I think she just needs to step in the shoes of the other people and just open up, just communicate. I think there's a lot of problems that can be solved by simply just talking.
Yeah. So one of the hints that he gives is role playing could be a good way to demonstrate this. I feel like Clayton is really
I
good
hate
at
role play.
What was that?
role playing.
Oh, role playing.
No, I think that's an awful idea.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, we know what it looks like, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what are the advantages for Martha with staying at Potomac, whatever it's called?
I thought it was pronounced Potomac.
It's Potomac, sorry. I threw in a
Because
lot.
because it is in Washington D.C., so I'm thinking the Potomac River. So
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
So yeah, what advantages?
well, first of all, she has no advantage until she gets this all figured out between these two people.
Yeah.
So the advantage. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the advantage was her getting the marketing experience that she wanted. It's not an advantage in pay at this point in time because she got offered considerably more at Deep Dive. It was the advantage was the experience that she would gain that would help her later on.
Right.
And I think another advantage that she saw was the stability of the company itself, which I don't necessarily agree with. I see where she was coming from. She was saying that obviously the corporate job is a company that's been around for a while. It's more established. Obviously, it has more talent there. But Deep Dive, she said, was just kind of I don't know, it was kind of a temporary success thing. And as long as their temporary success was going, then she would be fine and she'd get phenomenal experience. But as soon as that dipped off or plateaued, I think she was kind of scared of what would happen next. But people jump around so much these days. I feel like you stay at a company 2-3 years, and that's kind of normal. I mean, obviously people stay longer, but I don't think that should have been a contingency on staying or going to one company or the other. I think she could have done a heck of a job at Deep Dive and had phenomenal experience while getting paid more. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely is an option. Anything else? Advantages of
And Kenzie, with the role play, I thought you were saying that within the case they needed to role play. I didn't think you were saying we needed to role play. I was kind of thinking about. I was like, oh, that came across wrong.
So the teacher put in a hint to role play.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying a hint like they should have role played. But anyway.
No, sorry. So I think really the main advantage for her, outside of this employee issues that she's having, was really she just wanted more experience.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how about the disadvantages? Seems like a lot longer list.
Disadvantages of working where she currently is, or?
Yes.
I think the disadvantages is the biggest thing that stood out to me is she got off on the wrong foot, I feel like, with everybody. I mean, Bautista, I think he sees the potential in her and he wants her to continue to improve and push herself, but I think it's really hard to come back from those first impressions. And even if it were just 2 people, word spreads fast, and I feel like she really put herself in a bad spot just with how she really didn't get along with her coworkers and her boss right from the get-go. So I think that's the biggest disadvantage that I saw, at least.
Yeah. The culture makes such a big difference. And if
Oh, totally.
you ruin that at the beginning, it kind of just sets you up for failure.
Yeah.
Well, I think Jamie and Natalie set her up to fail to begin with.
Oh, I agree with
Yeah.
that. Totally.
That's true.
You know, to the simple fact of, well, I knew you were coming, but I didn't know you were coming today. I'm not prepared to talk to you right now. Why don't you just learn the product? I'll get with you when I can. Now,
Yeah, that's a huge red flag right there.
that's a huge red flag. And
No
that's
pressure.
what I would say. Look here, this is what Batista said you were going to do, and you better do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, start using, you know, name dropping and letting them know I'm not going to put up with your high school attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I think it just goes to show how disorganized, I don't know, I feel like the company itself was pretty disorganized, because the
Yes,
people that were in charge of like giving her the training and tutorial didn't even know she was coming in. Like, I
right.
don't know, at least the jobs that I've had, you've had like a whole crew. It's almost like a party when the new recruits come in, or whatever it is. So I think it was just an awful job by the company's part of communication and organization in general.
Right.
Absolutely. Anything else?
No.
She needs to quit and go to deep dive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's my one of my last questions. So who thinks she should leave?
Yes.
Yeah, that was my immediate feeling, and I saw in the video that our teacher left that he really wanted us to try and figure out a way for her to stay and kind of come up with reasons why it's best to stay. But at the end of the day, I just feel like it was best to go back to deep dive. But that being said, I think she does need to have realistic expectations of what it's going to be like when she goes back to deep dive, if she does, because she was an intern before, and they tend to kind of fluff you up and make you feel good, and you get away
Right.
with quite a few different things if you mess up, for example. But if she just comes in with the right attitude and the right expectations, I really think that's the best way to go.
Okay.
Yeah. I think for her to stay at Potomac, like, I think the only way, from what I gathered from the case, was she needs to talk to Bautista about transferring.
Yeah.
It seemed like people, other departments, like, understood what she was going through and kind of sympathized with her. So I don't think she'd have a lot of negative views from people outside the department. But I think the moment she goes to Bautista, like, that will be the end of her working in the department that she does work in. So, like, that's kind of the only option I see, is for her to go to Bautista, explain what's going on, ask for that position, that position switch, and if it doesn't happen, know that you gave it your all and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe leverage deep dive to get that different brand position within her current job. I don't think she needs to do it maliciously, but I think she just needs to present her options like, hey, I want to be transparent with you. I have another option right now. I'm not currently getting the training or I don't know, this
No. Yeah.
experience that I want. I would rather go, and I still want to work for the company, but I just think it'd be best for me to switch brands. And if he's not willing to do that, then that's when you're just like, all right, well, I'm out of here.
Right.
It seems like she has the support of Bautista, like, the whole way through.
Yeah.
I felt like there was multiple times where he was, he was the only one to really recognize what she was doing.
Totally.
And he also recognized in that original interview how, like, what did he say in the case study? How, like, she was just full of ideas and suggestions and was just really lively, and it doesn't seem to be the same person. So I think he recognized the potential early, and he kind of sees it dwindling. So I would think that he would do something if he truly wanted her to stay around as an employee and saw potential in her.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right.
I don't think it's that much of an ask either. I don't think it's a huge deal to switch her over to some other brand. But anyway,
Exactly.
Go ahead, Kenzie.
Sorry. So I will tell you what really happened. So Follett and Vaughn both left the company shortly after, and
Oh,
Rinaldi,
wow.
I know. Rinaldi learned that Follett had been job hunting during Rinaldi's time there.
Mm.
Interesting.
Wow. That
Rinaldi,
kind of makes sense.
yeah, I know, it kind of makes sense. Rinaldi had 2 new bosses who admired her work and relied on her. She was promoted ahead of schedule.
Look at that.
Right.
Sticking it out, worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
But
So-
it was because of a change in management. It
Right,
wasn't
right.
because she stuck with the same people and kind of toughed it out. There was some type of change. That's interesting.
Yeah, big time. So this week's lesson is on building power and credibility in a new job. And our last question we're just going to talk about is, what principles outlined in this week's reading apply to the situation? So I don't know how far you guys have gotten in. I don't know if it's referring to the case study or the book we're reading.
Guessing it's the book we're reading.
Yeah.
It's the book, right? The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. Is that what it's called?
It's something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten that far into it, but I think we can just kind of generally talk about what principles apply to this situation.
Are we talking about The Speed of Trust? Is that book?
No, it's the second book now.
Yeah, the
Oh.
other one, I think.
We just started it, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah. So if you haven't read it that much, that's fine, but just generally, what principles apply to this situation? In my little case study write-up, I did talk about patience, and I think that is definitely a principle
Yes.
Oh, totally.
that she applied.
I think patience, but at the same time, showing confidence. I don't think you can. Obviously, you have to kind of be humble, and when you're going into a new job, you can't start bossing people around and demanding things. But I think there's a certain level of confidence that needs to happen in order to not only communicate your situation and how you're feeling and your expectations, or else you're just going to get kind of thrown into the corner and people are going to forget about you. So I
Right.
think she let all those conflicts and the frustrations kind of get to her, and she kind of just curled up in the fetal position, and Bautista even saw that. So I think confidence is also a big deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, you guys.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay, awesome. Do we know who's leading next week? I meant to
I
check.
don't know. I haven't even.
I'm not sure.
Are we through everybody now? We're probably getting pretty close.
Yeah.
What are we going into week 9? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Wow. Already.
Well, I can do next week.
Okay, I was gonna try and look it up, but
I'm looking it
I don't know
up
if anyone's
right
seen it.
now.
here's the group sign up. Okay. Oh,
Group sign up. Here it is. It is. Can load fast. Still loading. Okay. What group are we again?
7.
We don't have anyone signed up.
Perfect.
I can do next week.
Okay.
All right.
I can do the following week. And that way we have the next 2 weeks planned out.
Okay.
All right, Brandon and Josh. Sweet. Sounds good.
And
I-
what time are we going to meet next week?
Oh yeah.
The later the better for me. My schedule has been just crazy. Wednesday's like one of my worst days, but unfortunately it's any other day for you guys is bad as well. So I can just kind of let you guys know, but I think if 8:30 works for you guys, that's fine with me as well.
Okay.
8:30 is fine for me. It's up to you guys.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I can switch to 8:30 Mountain Time. That's fine.
Okay. How about 8?
8? Okay. I think 8 should be fine.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Let me.
We'll shoot for if we have to start a few minutes late. We can start. And we'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
8 o'clock work.
All right. Perfect. Okay. I
Sounds
will email you guys the link and have a great
Perfect.
rest of your week.
Excellent.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Everybody, good deal.
See you later.
Good.
We'll
Okay.
see ya.